So now we're going to lie back and we're going to do some roll-ups. So first of all, we're going to do half roll-ups. So we're going to take our chin into our chest and then roll down again. Chin into our chest and then roll again, roll down again. So we're separating the vertebrae in our neck and then rolling down. So we want to keep our knees together, our feet together, and just feel that stretch at the back of our neck. Now we're going to keep one elbow on the floor and do oblique half roll-ups. So reaching over. Okay, now we're going to do 20 roll-ups. Now if this is difficult for you, then you can put your hands out in front. So you can roll up like this, because it's easier. You get more momentum when your hands are out in front. If you can't do that, you can put your hands on the floor and use the floor to push you up. This is a really functional exercise. So everybody should be able to do it in one form or another, even if you have to use your hands to help you. If you imagine you're lying in bed and then you have to sit up from your lying position, then you need to be able to do that somehow or another. Even if it's like holding on to bars or anything like that, you should be able to sit up. So you do whatever is most comfortable for you, but you need to work your stomach muscles, and the percentage of how much you're working them is dependent on how strong your stomach muscles are. So let's do 20, okay, ready? 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to do oblique roll-ups. So we're twisting to the side now. So twist to the side. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to do some pike ups. So pike ups with our arms to start with. So our legs are staying straight on the floor. We're going to breathe in to prepare, and as we go up, we breathe out. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to do pike ups with our legs. So keep our arms flat on the floor and just our legs. So breathe in to prepare. And then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to do one-legged pike-ups. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to do a full pike up. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. Just stretch out your stomach muscles to start with. And we're going to do 10 pike ups. Trying to keep our arms and our legs straight as we go up and as we go down. So let's just tuck my t-shirt in. Okay, ready? Breathe in to prepare. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to do child's pose now. So we're stretching our hands out in front of us as far as we can, and then we're going to walk our hands around to one side. So this is child's pose with a twist. And then round to the other side. So twisting round as far as we can to one side. And then back into the middle. And then we want to imagine that we've got a tray of drinks on our back, and then we're going to tilt our pelvis forwards, so we're making a valley with our back, and then tilt our pelvis backwards, so we're making a mountain. So forwards and back, forwards and back, forwards and back. So this really helps towards getting rid of back pain. When people get a stiff lower back, it's because they're not moving the lower aspects of their lumbar spine, where the spine meets the pelvis. They're not getting that much movement, and they're not getting that much activity of the muscles around that area. So when we do Pilates, we're trying to get as much movement in our pelvis as possible. So now we're going to do circles. So our pelvis is moving on our spine. Some people find it difficult to get this movement going. That's because the muscles around their pelvis and lumbar spine have not been used for a long time. And then the other way. So the stronger your glutes are, and the stronger your lower back muscles are, the easier you will find this exercise. Now we're going to keep our bottom in the air, and then from there we'll do child's pose. So because our bottom is in the air, our shoulders have to stretch a lot more than what they were stretching. And then we're going to come back into 4-point kneeling. So from there, we're going to take our feet off the floor and then do some half press ups. So taking our nose all the way to the floor. So we want a straight line from our shoulders to our knees. Take our nose to the floor and then back up again. So we keep the same position with our bottom. We don't want to pretend that we're moving our arms when we're actually just moving our bottom, because that's a bit of a waste of time. Unless we're doing the exercise properly and isolating the correct muscles, then it's a bit pointless. It's a little bit like going to the gym, trying to lift really heavy weights, but you're just compensating with other muscles and cheating because the weights are too heavy for you. It's better to get a good form and work in the correct way. So now we're going to go back into child's pose. Stretch our hands as far away from us as we can, and then walk them round. And then walk back the other way. Okay, and now we're going to stretch into the splits. So lots of people can't do the splits, including me, but it's good to practice because then we're working our hip flexors and we're stretching our hamstrings at the same time. So first of all, we're going to stretch our hip flexors. So we've got our back leg straight, our knee trying to come off the floor as much as we can, our toes pointed at the back, and then our hands on our bent knee. So we're going to hold this position for a while, driving our hips forwards, feeling that stretch at the front of our hip of the leg that is straight. Okay, and then we're going to, from that position, we're going to get hold of our foot. So you can get cramped doing this. So we're going in, we're still going to hold the same position. So we're stretching our hip flexors, but we're doing it with a bent knee. So now that our knee is bent, we're having to stretch our rectus femoris muscle a lot more. Now we're going to try and pull our foot towards our back with two hands. So it's a lot of balancing and concentrating, trying to take our back leg into extension. So now we're going to swap legs. So our knee is straight, our toes are pointed, our hands are on our bent knee. We're extending our back as much as we can. We're going to just hold that for a little bit. So if you can't do this with your knee off the floor, you can do it with your knee on the floor. You can do it like this. So you've got 90 degrees here and then a straight line between your shoulder and your knee. And you can just drive your hip forward. That's also a good hip flexor stretch. And then you can take your arm across like that. And then you're really stretching your hip flexors. But if you want to stretch your hip flexors more, then you take your foot all the way back, you point your toes, and you lift your knee off the floor. So now we're going to put our knee on the floor and get hold of our foot with two hands. This really does put our hip flexors and our quadricep muscles on a stretch. So the rectus femoris muscle attaches up here in your hip and then below your knee. So by bending your knee, all of your quadricep muscles attach below your knee. So when you bend your knee, you're putting all your quads on a stretch. So when we're trying to do the splits, we're needing our hamstrings to be long and our quads to be long and our hip flexors to be long. So now we're going to swap back. We'll do our hip flexor stretch again. And then we're going to go into the splits position. Now, even if you can't do the splits, just trying to do the splits is a good start. So I could do the splits, and now I haven't stretched as much as I was, so now I've got a bit tight. But if you take your arms above your head, it's a good way to help open up your hip and let it stretch. You can put your hands on furniture either side to stabilise you, or you can put your hands on the floor, whatever feels comfortable. And then we're going to swap sides. So stretch our hip flexors again. And then go into split position. So if you're on quite a slippery surface, it makes it easy to slide further and further into the split position. It might be worse if you're really struggling. It might be better to have more friction. You can just trial both of them and see what's most comfortable. But as we do this split position, we're trying to lean back and get as much stretch as we can through our hip flexors. Pull our tummy in, pull our pelvic floor up. We should find it's easier. So we'll go to the other leg. And then try and put your head on the floor. So that's requiring your back to move as well as your hamstrings. So it's good if your back is feeling like it's uncomfortable, because it probably means that you're stretching it more than you normally do. So try and put your head on the floor. And that is it for today.